Morning students, welcome back to the online teaching. Today I am going to make this special video for the student of class 9 because they have passed 8th class and they have entered into 9th class, so they are very new in terms of understanding the literature techniques. So I am giving them a brief introduction of all poetic devices, not all but important poetic devices which they will face during the session. So these literary devices are very common and very important in their literature. So first of all, I would like to give the introduction. So why these poetic devices are used. So I hope that you will understand because I am dealing these poetic devices in a very easy and simple language. So in literature, any technique used to help the author to achieve his or her purpose is called literary device. Okay. Author wants to achieve his purpose. I mean to say that the person who writes something and who wants to convey his message to the readers. So, in order to make his understanding better, he uses such kind of device. So, to convey more easily to his viewers or his readers. Understood? So that is why such kind of poetic device are used. Typically, these devices are used for an aesthetic purpose intended to make the piece more beautiful. Aesthetic purpose means beautification purpose. So these devices are used for to beautify the writing piece. It improves the quality of writing, emotional tone, and more relatable. Okay. So why these devices are used? In order to make the writing of the author more beautiful and relatable to the topic which he is dealing with. So the first poetic, and now I am dealing with the categories of poetic device. The first poetic device is simile. Simile, a word or phrase that compares something to something else, using the words like or as. For example, when we compare two things together, we want to show the similarities between both the things, or maybe we want to relate these things together. So simile is used. For example, if I say face like a moon, I am comparing here the face along with the moon. Okay. And second one is white as snow. So whiteness we are comparing with the snow. So the poet wants to convey this message. It was as white as snow, and face was like a moon. Okay. So such kind of things, moon and face are compared together. Here the white thing is compared with the snow. Okay. Now I hope you understood now. Alliteration. Alliteration. Here I forgot to tell you the spelling of simile. S-I-M-I-L-E. Simile. S-I-M-I-L-E. Okay. Now second category of the poetic device is alliteration. The spelling of alliteration is A-L-L-I-T-E-R-A-T-I-O-N. Alliteration. So what alliteration is? Now we will see. The use of the same letter or sound at the beginning of words that are close together. When a poet uses the words which are common in the terms of sound or maybe the letter in the beginning, they are known as this kind of device, poetic device is known as alliteration. So, for example, you see the line. Just take care of this line. Be very, very attentive towards it. He built a big boat. He built a big boat. So built, B-U-I-L-T. B is the starting word. A big, B-I-G. Again B. Boat, B-O-A-A. B-O-A-T. Boat. So in all these three words, the beginning sound is B. So that is a wonderful example of alliteration. The second example, the huge house. The huge house haunted humans with its size. Okay. The huge house haunted humans with its size. So the huge, H is here. House, again H is starting word and starting letter, and haunted, again H, and humans, again H. So huge, house, haunted, humans. In 4 words consecutively H is used. So it is also an example of alliteration. Hope you understood. Now the third category of poetic device is allusion. 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 Allusion is a figure of speech in which an object or circumstance from unrelated context is referred to covertly or indirectly. Allusion is a poetic device in which poet relates the circumstances and objects with some unrelated context. Okay. For example, here there is no any relation between chocolate and kryptonite. Yeah? So, but he is relating these two things together. So it's an example of allusion. Allusion. As suppose I am just going to tell you a sentence. For example, chocolate is his kryptonite. So what kryptonite is? The kryptonite word means कमजोरी, है ना? तो chocolate उसकी कमजोरी है. So chocolate is his kryptonite. Okay. So when we see both the words chocolate and kryptonite, they are not matching. They are not going to relate with each other. But the author has used these two words in this sense. It is relating. He is trying to relate some meaning of this sentence. So here chocolate is his kryptonite. Understood? Now metaphor. The fourth category is metaphor for the poetic device. METAPHOR. Metaphor. So what metaphor is? A literary device where a word is used in a non-literal sense to stand in for something else. Okay. Suppose when here I have told you already the first poetic device is simile. So when we compare two things together, that is called simile. But when we do not compare two things together and directly whatever we are thinking, we will produce that thinking with that word for a particular thing. That is called metaphor. Like this. If I say, you just focus on me, what I am telling actually. If I say, he was as brave as a lion. So here I am comparing the two things, lion with a person, with a man. So it's a simile. If I say that he is the lion in the battlefield, so that is metaphor. I am not comparing, but I am saying my opinion directly to the person. I am just relating with my opinion to the person directly. That is called metaphor. So simile is when we compare two things together, and metaphor when we do not compare and we produce the opinion as it is, whatever we are thinking about that particular person, or maybe a thing, or maybe an idea. Understood, I hope. So the example of metaphor is Romeo is catching his first glimpse of Juliet. Romeo is catching his first glimpse of Juliet as he stands below her balcony, and he is so overcome by her beauty that he calls her the sun. Okay. So because Romeo and Juliet, as it was very, it is very famous story written by William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare is supposed to be the most eminent poet as well as writer in English literature. English literature is incomplete without the discussion of William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare has written so many plays, so many stories, so many poetries, so many sonnets. So Romeo and Juliet is one of his masterpiece, I must say. So Romeo and Juliet is a love story in which Romeo fell in love with Juliet, and because of he was impressed with her beauty and her qualities, so he called her the sun. So Juliet was not actually a sun, but in metaphor, if we take an example, so we can so in the eyes of Romeo, she was just like a sun. just like a sun. Now the next category is personification. Fifth category of your poetic device is personification. So what personification? As its name indicates, personification, in which a thing, an idea or an animal is given human attributes. When we give, or when the poet gives human attribution to a non-living thing, that is called personification. The non-human objects are portrayed in such a way that we feel they have ability to act like human beings. That is called personification. For example, lightning danced across the sky. Lightning danced across the sky. So lightning is a non-living thing, and poet has described it as lightning was dancing across the sky. So it is an example of personification. Now the next category of poetic device is onomatopoeia. O-N-O-M-E-T-O-P-O-E-I-A. Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia. And before it, personification. The spelling of personification is P-E-R-S-O-N-I-F-I-C-A-T-I-O-N. Personification. After personification, I am dealing with onomatopoeia. The spelling of onomatopoeia is O-N-O-M-E-T-O-P-E-I-A. Onomatopoeia. So the definition of onomatopoeia is the fact of words containing sounds similar to the noises they describe. For example, when have you seen in some of the poetries, or maybe in some of the textual part, you have seen then that when the effect of something is described, so such words are used. As suppose we are describing the author is describing regarding the sound of the bees, honey bees, or maybe some other bees. So buzzing sound, okay. Hummingbirds. So he's just describing humming sound, like this. Or maybe shattered. The pane of the glass is shattered, okay, like this. So his sound of the snake is hiss. And thud, that something has fallen on the floor. So thud, like this. Such kind of words which produce their own description, called onomatopoeia. For example, shattered, hiss, buzz. Understood? Hope you understood. Hyperbole. Hyperbole, Hyperbole. The next category of our poetic device is hyperbole. Hyperbole, a way of speaking or writing that makes something sound better. When we go beyond the actual qualities of something, maybe negative or positive, maybe something we are just showing that it is more worse. It is worse than our thinking. It is worse than what we feel, or maybe the worst thing. Okay, so we exaggerate something. We exaggerate sometimes. So that is called hyperbole. For example, I have told you to clean your room 1,000,000 times. Is it possible to tell someone 1,000,000 times? But we have spoken. So it's an example of hyperbole. Next is irony. The next category of literary device is irony. The opposite of what is expected occurs. When we expect something good and bad happens. When we expect something bad, good happens. So the thing which goes beyond our expectation is called irony. For example, the police station gets robbed. Is it possible that police station gets robbed? Maybe may get robbed. Although it is impossible, but if we speak like that, so it's an example of irony. Next is idioms. Idioms, as in Hindi we say muhavre. So an expression. So the next literary device is idioms. Idioms are, idioms, the spelling of idioms is IDIOMS, idioms. And idioms are an expression whose meaning is different from the meaning of the individual words in it. Suppose the idioms are spoken for making our language more understood to the readers or the listeners. For example, cross your fingers. Why should we cross our fingers? The meaning of cross your fingers is for a good luck. So if we compare cross your fingers and a good luck, they both are different, but the meaning of cross your fingers is good luck, totally different. The next example is fell on deaf ears. So fell on deaf ears means people wouldn't listen to anything. Okay, whatever we spoke, people didn't listen to it. So this is also a different meaning. Next is giving the cold shoulder. Giving the cold shoulder means ignore something. So giving the cold shoulder, if you see the literary meaning of giving the cold shoulder, that is totally different from ignore something. So these are the examples of idioms. Now the last one is symbolism. The last literary device, I have selected few literary devices. They are not complete devices, but which are very useful and very common to you. So the 10th one is symbolism. So symbolism means the use of symbols to represent things, especially in art and literature. If you want to symbolize something, so such kind of devices are used by the writer or maybe the poet. They are for example, a red rose. Red rose stands for love or romance. And black is a symbol of death or evil. So such kind of things are used as a symbolism. So I hope you understood few of the literary devices which are very useful. If you have any doubt or any misunderstanding regarding these literary devices, you can comment down me in comment box. Thank you and have a nice day.